Hi, everybody. Welcome to today's call, the 4 Pillars of Successful Digital Marketing. I'm Molly Pearson. I'm the Director of Marketing at the Event Planners Association, and that's how you guys all heard about this call and showed up to join. So thanks for showing up and being on time, and we'll get started right away so that we can honor your time and all of you who showed up here. I'm going to go ahead and introduce Phil, who's going to be hosting this call for us. Phil is the founder and the COO of Main Street ROI. He leads their operations, and he's the primary creator of Main Street ROI's training programs, ones that they do on their own, and then also partner stuff like what they're doing with us today and for you guys. So he's an expert in online advertising and marketing analytics and sales funnel optimization, and that's all well and good, and he can help us with a lot of stuff like that if that kind of is gobbledygook to some of you. I know it was for me when I first started getting into business. So that's why we reach out and look for partners to kind of help us make sense of the things that may not come super easily and naturally to us. So Phil's great. A lot of the stuff that he's written and talks about has been published on Forbes and Inc.com and MSN.com and a bunch of other major business media outlets. And when he's not working, he's got things he likes to do in his spare time. He's a barefoot runner in Central Park in New York City, although not today because there is a blizzard happening over there. And he's a member of the Determination Running team, where he raises money for the American Cancer Society by running road races in the 5 boroughs of NYC. And he lives in New York with his wife Erin and his daughter Violet and his son Emmett in Manhattan. And that is that. I'm actually all the way over in Berkeley right now, where it is raining, much needed rain over here. So I'll hand it over to Phil now, and he's just gonna get you guys going with all the juicy goodness. So thanks, Phil.
Thanks, Molly. Thanks for the intro. And thanks to Event Planners Association for organizing this presentation. And as Molly said, we are in the middle of a nice snowstorm. It's supposed to get 8 to 12 inches over here, so I am not running barefoot and not actually running at all today. All right, let's dive in with some housekeeping. If this is your first webinar, I want to let you know that there is a questions box. It should be in the upper right-hand corner of your screen. And you can just type in questions as I go. And then we'll also have live Q&A at the end. I always recommend you turn off distractions. You get more out of these presentations if you're not also checking email or scrolling through political messages on Facebook. And I have a quick poll just to get a feel for who's on the line today. So let me see if I can get this loaded up. On your screen, you'll see a question, just a basic question. Are you currently working with a marketing consultant? Yes, no, or the third answer is we are an agency or I am a consultant. We actually find that during these presentations, a lot of agencies and consultants are on the line. I see that there are about 10%, and most people have voted, so I'm going to close that out in 3, 2, 1. And it looks like 20% are currently working with a marketing consultant, 70% are not, and that leaves about 10% on the line that are consultants or agencies. And just to get a feel for the size of your marketing budget, that's the next question you should see. Less than 500, 500 to 1,000, 1,000 to 2,000, 2 to 3K, or more than 3K. As I would expect, most people are falling into the less than 500 per month category. It looks like actually 50%, and then 23, call it 20%, 500 to 1,000, and then pretty evenly dispersed across the other 3. And the last question here, to get a feel for other marketing channels that you are currently using. So you might be using Google AdWords advertising and or Bing advertising, Facebook advertising, email marketing, social media. Looks like, wow, close to 90% using Facebook ads. I'll actually show this one to you. Let me close it out in 3, 2, 1. I can share that. It's pretty interesting. That's surprising to me. Close to 90% using Facebook ads, 30% using Google or Bing ads, and 63% using email marketing. That's pretty strong. Typically, a lot of businesses are not using email, and I'll talk about that later in the presentation, why you should be. And a lot of folks using social media, and I don't have the questions box open. Nobody typed in an answer. Okay, that is enough for the housekeeping. Let's just dive into the presentation today. We're going to cover, obviously, the 4 pillars. We'll talk about some of the top traffic sources that you can use to drive traffic to your website. 3 key areas to improve your sales conversions, or how to convert more of that traffic that you're getting to your site into leads and sales. I'll also touch on the critical elements you need to track your digital marketing return on investment. And as always, I have a nice special offer for all of the attendees today. So Molly already gave a nice intro. I'll be quick. Again, my name is Phil Frost, the founder of Main Street ROI, and our business provides digital marketing services, primarily search engine optimization, online advertising, and email marketing services. And we also provide training, like this training today. And then we have other more in-depth training courses that we sell on our website. And we also go into even more detail with some of our master classes. We're actually in the middle of a SEO Jumpstart masterclass that really goes into everything that you would need to know about search engine optimization. To date, we've helped over 2,000 businesses with their digital marketing. As Molly said, my thought leadership has been featured in Forbes, Inc., Amex, as well as Mashable. And this is my favorite slide. I'm the proud father of Violet on the right. She's now over 4 years old. She's turned 4 on January 2nd. It's my chubby son, Emmett. He is about 20 months old. And that's my beautiful wife, Erin. And we live on the Upper West Side of Manhattan, which, as I mentioned, is getting snowed in right now. Hopefully I can get home. All right, so here's an introduction to the 4 pillars framework. And here's an interesting chart that I found. I think I found this a couple of years ago. And the details of this aren't as important as just kind of the overwhelming amount of information that is crammed onto this slide here. So this is this is an infographic just showing all the different marketing technology that's out there. And I just thought this was interesting because it breaks it out into sales and marketing at the top, website tools in the middle, e-commerce technology. Then below you've got the website creation and management, web analytics, feedback and surveys, community, social media. It's, you know, the point of this slide is it's completely overwhelming, and that's why I came up with the 4 pillars, and really that was the basis for this presentation, to really boil all this down into a simplified version. So why do you need the 4 pillars? There's just way too many online marketing options out there, and it's very easy, especially if you're on a lot of, if you're doing a lot of research and you're getting a lot of emails about kind of the latest and greatest marketing tactics, it's easy to get caught up in that shiny object syndrome where you're just kind of running around like a chicken with its head cut off, bouncing from different tactic to different tactic and all these different tools. So that's the problem out there. And in this presentation, I want to boil it down into the 4 pillars. And the goal here is for you to figure out what is your main priority in your business. And then once you figure out the main priority, what are the tactics that you should be using? Another key takeaway is that all activity is not going to lead to more sales. That should be obvious, but it's easy to get caught up again with all of the latest and greatest tactics and tools and think that's going to lead to more sales. But just doing a lot of marketing doesn't always lead to more sales. So again, you need a simple framework to prioritize all of these options. And the framework is really based on a very basic formula. So when you boil down digital marketing, the amount of money that you're going to generate, the amount of sales, it follows this equation. So T in this case is traffic multiplied by your conversion rate, and that's how much of that traffic converts into sales, multiplied by the value of your customer. So if you take the traffic that you're getting each month, multiply that by the conversion rate that you're getting on that traffic, and then multiply it by how much money you generate from your customers, that is the revenue that you're generating from your digital marketing. So that's obviously a super simplified version of your business, but it's important to see that because that leads us to the 4 pillars. So the 4 pillars should be obvious based on that formula. First pillar is traffic. So you obviously need to be driving traffic to your website. Second pillar is conversion. And those are all the tactics to convert that traffic into leads and sales. The third pillar is your customer value. And there are tactics you can use to increase how much money you're making per customer. And last but not least, there's tracking. And if you're not tracking your traffic conversions and your customer value, then you don't know where things are breaking down. So you absolutely need to have tracking in place, and we'll talk about that later. Okay, before we dive into each pillar, you might be wondering, do you really need all 4? And that's the point of this slide here. You obviously need to have traffic to your website, and then you need to convert on that traffic, which we already mentioned. And then we're going to talk more about this later. One of the critical factors in marketing success is actually how much money you're making per customer. And if you've ever wondered how certain businesses are advertising and how are they not losing their shirt, it's probably because they have a higher customer value than you. And that's definitely the case when we get into Google AdWords advertising, and you might be looking at that type of advertising and you think, well, the cost per click is just way too high, this will never work. And you look at these other businesses that are doing it day after day after day, and they're doing that because they likely have more money to play with because of their customer value. And I already mentioned this, you have to be tracking all of this to be able to identify exactly where you need to improve. So is your biggest problem right now that you don't have any traffic? Well, that could be the case, especially if you're a brand new business just getting your website live, then your number one issue is getting traffic to your site. If you already have traffic, then that might not be your biggest issue in your business. You might need to focus more on conversion and customer value. So let's dive into each pillar. So the first pillar here is traffic. And this is obviously the number one priority if you're just getting started and you don't have a lot of traffic to your website. You're obviously not going to generate a lot of sales until you have more traffic to your site. And the goal here with the traffic pillar is to find the right marketing channels that are sending you qualified prospects each and every month. So you want to have a recurring stream of qualified prospects coming to your site from each of your marketing channels. And when I say marketing channel, that could be search engine optimization, could be Google AdWords, Facebook advertising. Those are all different channels that you could be using. And the keyword here is obviously qualified. You can be doing a lot of marketing, and if you're not using the right tactics and not in the right channels, you could be driving a lot of traffic, but it's not qualified. So that is probably the most important word in that sentence there. All right, so what are the different traffic sources? So there's search engine optimization, or SEO. I think most people are familiar with what SEO is. That's how to get your website to show up high in the search results. For example, if someone is searching for an event planner, you want your website to show up high for that particular keyword. So that's SEO. There's tactics to get your website to show up higher naturally or organically in the search results. And then there's online advertising, and there's different types of advertising. There's search advertising, where you're advertising, again, on a keyword like event planner. Someone is going to Google, searching for an event planning company. You could then advertise on that keyword, have your company show up high, and then pay for that traffic. SEO traffic, you need to invest to get your website to rank high, but then when people click, you don't actually pay for that traffic, whereas online advertising, you do pay every time someone clicks. There's other types of advertising beyond search. There's display advertising. That's where you show ads on other websites across the internet. And I saw that a lot of people are using Facebook advertising, which is another type of display advertising. Another traffic source that, in my experience, is underutilized is referral partners. And this can be great in terms of sending you just very qualified prospects and sending you consistently qualified prospects month after month. And the way to start brainstorming this is just to think about what are some other businesses what are the other businesses that are targeting your ideal customer. And once you start thinking about that, I'm sure you'll start to write down a handful of different types of businesses, and then you need to take that a step further, do the research, find the exact business, find their contact information, and then obviously reach out to them to form some kind of referral partnership. There's obviously social media marketing. Everyone's familiar with that. The biggest name in that space is going to be Facebook, and the reality is that pretty much everyone's customers are using Facebook, whether you're B2C, business to consumer, or B2B, business to business. The facts are out there in terms of who's using Facebook. It's across the board. It's across all the age ranges, all the different demographics. You can certainly reach your target on social media, but the question is, with organic social media, do you have the resources to basically become a publishing company? And then with advertising, is the targeting really allowing you to hit your ideal customer? And that's the big question with the Facebook advertising versus something like a Google AdWords advertising, where someone is searching literally for your business, like event planning company. That's highly targeted traffic versus display advertising or Facebook advertising, where they're not necessarily looking for an event planning company. So you need to figure out, can you actually target your ideal customer? And lastly here, if you're doing any type of offline marketing or advertising, like direct mail, print, TV, radio, then you want to think about how to integrate that with your website. For example, most TV ads now include some kind of URL to go learn more. And you can do that with direct mail, print, and radio as well. And you can drive traffic to a specific page on your site that's related to that particular offline ad channel. So you want to think about how to integrate that, how to make it a seamless integration. So you're not just sending traffic from all of your different direct mail, print, and TV ads just to your homepage. That's definitely not what you want to do. You want to send that traffic to a unique page on your site that matches exactly the message that you were putting in that other ad channel. I just saw a question come in. How can see him? Just wanted to confirm my screen is sharing. Yes. All right. If anyone else has problems seeing my screen, let me know. It should be sharing. So for the first pillar, here are kind of the main action points. What I would recommend, if you haven't done this already, you want to set up what I call your SEO foundation. And the reason I recommend this, so there's all those different tactics out there, but with SEO, it's one of those where it's an asset that grows over time. And if you ignore this, you're really missing out on an opportunity to capture some very qualified prospects month after month. So if you can cover the bases, get the foundation set up, then over time, that will continue to grow and you'll naturally get more and more traffic and it should snowball for you. In terms of what you would need to do, you need to research the relevant keywords. So what are people searching to find your business? Then you want to optimize what I call your core pages for those keywords. So I already mentioned, someone searching for an event planner, someone searching, let's say you have different types of services like wedding planning. That wedding planning page is what I would call a core service page, and that would be optimized for anyone searching for wedding planning related keywords. Then you definitely want to go out and set up your business in the major business directories. So any directories related to event planning, any directories related to your geographic location. So if you're also in New York, there are New York specific business directories that you want to get set up in those. And then you want to work on getting what are called citations and links. This is a more advanced SEO tactic that we go into on our other SEO trainings. But basically, what you're trying to do here is get other businesses to list your information, most importantly, your name, address, and phone number. That is called a citation. And then you want to attract other websites to link to your website. So, for example, there are other websites related to the wedding industry. Getting those sites to link to your wedding planning page will be beneficial for you to rank higher when someone is searching for a wedding planning company. The second action item here, I would start with getting the foundation for SEO if you haven't already. And then if you do have an advertising budget, especially if you're already advertising in Facebook, if you're seeing success with Facebook or you're not seeing success, I would certainly consider Google AdWords search advertising. So again, this is a way to show an ad to people literally searching for your business. So people are going to Google, typing event planner, they're typing wedding planner, all the different types of event planning related keywords. You have an opportunity to show your business right at the top of the page by using Google AdWords search. So those are highly qualified prospects, so you can get traffic consistently month after month, and then you obviously need to be converting on that traffic, which we'll talk about next. All right, so pillar 2 is conversions. And I mentioned this earlier, it's a huge leverage point if you already have traffic. And this is actually, when I talk to businesses and I ask them, what's the number one priority, or what's your biggest area where you're focused, it's typically traffic. That's where most people think they need the most help with. They need to just get more eyeballs on their website. But if you already have people coming to your website month after month from SEO, from Facebook ads, and whatever else you're doing, the bigger leverage point is converting on that traffic. It's, you can certainly invest more and try to get more traffic, but if you can take your conversion rate, and let's say it's at 1% right now, and then let's say you can take that and increase it to 2%, so double your conversion rate. I'm not saying that's easy. I'm saying that is likely realistic for a lot of businesses. If you do that, you would obviously double the amount of sales that you're getting from your website without investing any more money in ads and all these other marketing channels. So that's the power of focusing on your conversion. So the goal is to just increase the number of leads and sales that you're generating from your existing website traffic. And there's lots of ways to do this, but here are the 3 core areas that I would recommend you focus on. And the first being your website copy and layout. You want to make sure you have a clear call to action. You want to look at all of your core pages of your site, so your home page, all of your core product and services pages, and make sure that there's a very clear call to action. So is it obvious for the visitor on your site? Is it obvious to them what the next step is? Do you want them to call, complete some kind of form, or actually come to your office? Next is an area that is neglected very often, and that's social proof. And you just, think about your own personal skepticisms when you're surfing online and you find a new business. You are likely highly skeptical of that business unless you get some kind of confirmation that other people have used this business and they had a good experience. And that's what social proof does. It removes that skepticism and puts people's guard down, essentially, because everyone online is just surfing around and extremely skeptical for good reason. So you want to have lots of testimonials on your site. If you don't already, have some testimonials on each of your product and service pages. If you have a lot of reviews and testimonials, consider creating a separate page just to list all of that, because again, people want to see that, and they're going to be less likely to contact you if you don't show them some kind of social proof. And then this next point here, being responsive to the device. What that means is you really need nowadays to have a website that responds to the different devices. That might be the desktop computer that's going to your site. It might be a mobile smartphone going to your website, or it might be a tablet. So those are the 3 different types of devices that people use now, and they're very common. In fact, more people use Google.com on their mobile device than they do on desktop computers. So this is a huge trend where people are using the internet on mobile and tablets. Now, that's a clear trend. There is a lot of data out there about that trend. The problem is most businesses are sticking their heads in the sand and ignoring that trend and just creating websites, or have websites that were just created for desktop computers, and they don't really function properly for mobile and tablets. So that's going to kill your conversion rates especially if if a lot of your traffic is coming from mobile and tablets. Right, the next area is what's called a lead magnet. And I'm sure you've seen these on different websites. When you go to a site and they offer you, let's say, a free report or some kind of coupon, or they have a cool tool that you can use, like a calculator. But to use it, you have to give them your email address. And it's totally free, but you have to just give them your email. The reason for that is because most people that go to your site are not really ready to make a buying decision. So the vast majority, I mentioned before, conversion rates can be 1%, 2%. So that means about 98% of your traffic is not converting. They're just leaving your site. And if they leave your site, there's a very good chance they're never going to come back. So what you can do is offer some kind of free report, some kind of coupon to capture, a handful of those folks that were just going to leave, get their contact information, and now you have an email address that you can follow up with and actually get them over the line. And that leads us to the next step, which is follow-up. And there's two core areas of follow-up. So if you're doing this right and you have a website that is offering some kind of lead magnet, you want to set up what are called autoresponders. And those are automatic emails that can go out at a predefined sequence. For example, if I could go to your site, I could request the 10 mistakes to avoid when planning your wedding. So I go to your site. I'm interested in getting a wedding planner. I'm not quite ready to pull the trigger. I see that report. Clearly, I want to avoid making mistakes when I plan my wedding. So I download that report. I give you my email address, and I go read that report. I leave your site, read the report, go about my day. Now you've got my email address, and you can follow up with me, and you can have a predefined sequence that sends me more information. It says, hey, did you check out the report? Mistake number 1 is not hiring a wedding planner, something like that, and here's why that's a mistake. And you have some good data to back that up. So that kind of autoresponder can be set up one time, and then it consistently nurtures leads automatically with no additional effort from your sales team. And then the other element that I would want you to consider is having some kind of consistent email newsletter. What businesses typically do is they'll set up an email newsletter and then add an email newsletter form to their site. And the reality is no one wants to sign up for an email newsletter, or very few people want to. So that's not really how you get people onto your email newsletter. The way you get people onto your email newsletter is offering them something more valuable like a free report or a coupon, and then transitioning them from that over to a consistent email newsletter that, again, provides even more value to help them further with their planning needs. Okay, so here are the action items for pillar number 2. Add a strong call to action. So just take a look at your site. A good exercise is to literally get up from your seat, step back from your computer, go maybe 6 feet away, and look at your site and ask yourself, is it obvious what the next step should be on this page? And if you can't tell from that distance, then it's not as obvious as it should be. You want to be making the font maybe a little bit bigger, or those buttons a little bit bigger. Add social proof, like testimonials. We already mentioned that. Add some kind of lead magnet, some kind of free report or a coupon or a tool. And then add your email follow-up. So again, the autoresponders, that's something that you can set up one time, and that will help your sales team just automatically behind the scenes. And then I also recommend you get people onto an email newsletter, because that's how you can nurture them over the long term. So people will be, if you're providing value to them each month, they'll stay on your email newsletter. And that basically gives you permission to market to them over time. And again, you spent money on these different marketing channels to get them to your site. So you've already invested the money, you get them onto your email newsletter, and that's another asset that you have that continues to grow. And you have that list that you can then email to and send them other types of promotions. All right, pillar number 3 is customer value. And I mentioned this earlier, customer value is it's an absolutely critical factor in marketing success. And this is often what makes or breaks advertising campaigns. I have certainly seen it firsthand. I worked with a company that was selling a product at, I think it was $39 when we originally started. And we were able to increase both the initial price point as well as provide other products on top of that and get that value all the way up to $150. So you can imagine when we first started out, the most we could pay to generate a sale was $39. And then we were able to continue to work on increasing that value, and over time got it up to $150, and we were able to expand the advertising that we could do because we could afford to pay even more to generate those customers. So the goal here is to increase the average customer value so you can afford to invest more than your competitors to get a new customer. And this is happening every single day, especially in Google AdWords, especially in Facebook. The businesses that are winning and generating the most traffic and the most sales, those are often the businesses that have the highest customer value, because they can just bid more and be more aggressive with their advertising because they've got more wiggle room. So how do you increase your customer value? First one is easy, just increase your prices. I know that sounds crazy, but the reality is you probably could increase your prices and not even affect your conversion rates. There's a great story in the book Influence by Dr. Cialdini. Highly recommend you read that book if you haven't already. The story is about an owner of a jewelry store is about to leave to go on a trip for a conference. And before she leaves, she jots down a note and she tells the manager of the store to chop the prices of some jewelry in half because she wants to make them, wants to sell out of that jewelry. It hasn't been selling at all. So she leaves, she goes on her trip. She comes back, she's very happy to see that jewelry is all sold out. And then she takes a look at the sales for the month and is shocked to see that she actually had a very profitable month selling those, because rather than cutting the price in half, the manager of the store misread the message and actually doubled the price. So rather than cutting the prices, she doubled the price, and what happened was that naturally increased the perceived value of that jewelry. Now, I'm certainly not recommending you go out and double the prices of your products and services, but I do want to hopefully show that, just because you increase your prices doesn't mean you're going to hurt your sales conversions. There's a lot of psychology behind different price points, and the reality is at a certain price point, a certain high price point, people will actually perceive your product or service in a more positive light than at a lower price point. And when you think about it, that makes sense. when you're doing your shopping and you're comparing 3 different price ranges, typically you think that lower price is lower quality. And if that's where you're operating in your business, you certainly want to reconsider your price points. Next way to increase your customer value is to add upsells. So what else can you provide to your customers? And then I would also want to consider some kind of subscription offer where you can get recurring billing from the customers. So the action items with customer value, you want to review your price points, and you want to think about this in 2 ways. How can you increase the real value, so the real value that you're actually providing to your customers, and how can you increase the perceived value? So perceived value is just how your prospective customers perceive your products and services. And a lot of that has to do with kind of the look and feel. So if you have a very budget-looking website, then that's going to hurt perceived value. They're going to think that your products and services are in line with the low-quality website. So that's just one example. With upsells, so what else can you offer to help your customers even more? So can you do even more kind of more hands-on planning? Can you take even more off of their plate? That would certainly be helpful, and a lot of customers would pay more for that. And then what could you offer as a subscription service? Is there any aspect of your business that people would pay on a monthly basis, quarterly basis, yearly? Excuse me. I know personally, owning a business, we have company outings on a quarterly basis. That would certainly lend itself to some kind of subscription model where, a business like mine could pay an event planning company to consistently come up with new ideas for company outings. And right there, you could get businesses to sign up and be paying you on a quarterly basis to do their quarterly events, or maybe it's yearly getaways that companies are planning. I saw a question from Jamie. Yeah, I believe that's the book. So Jamie asked, is that the book? And she found it on Amazon, Influence, Psychology, Persuasion, Business, Essentials, ebook. Oh, no, it's not an ebook. It's literally a book. And I can take a look after the presentation and see if I can find that for you. Okay, pillar number 4, tracking. I already mentioned this. You absolutely need to have tracking so you know what's working and what's just wasting your budget. Oftentimes, you can have different marketing set up, and it can be driving a lot of traffic to your site, and it feels good. But if you're not tracking the leads and sales from that traffic, it's not clear whether or not that's just wasting your money. And the goal with your tracking is to first trim the fat. So where are you just wasting money with your marketing? You want to obviously stop investing there, and then figure out where you are making your money. Because if you have extra budget and you know you're making money in a certain marketing channel, then you want to obviously reinvest and double down on that marketing channel to drive even more leads and sales. So here are the 4 elements of tracking. You absolutely need to be tracking the traffic per marketing channel. You don't want to just be looking at your aggregate website traffic. Let's say you're getting 1,000 visits a month or 2,000 visits a month. That really doesn't tell you anything. More specifically, you want to look at how much traffic are you getting from your Facebook ads in particular. And then drill down even deeper, how much are you getting from each Facebook ad campaign, and how much traffic are you getting from SEO and Google AdWords. And then taking that a step further, having some kind of web form conversion tracking. So how many people that are coming from those Facebook ads or those Google ads, how many of those are completing a form to contact you or schedule an appointment, whatever that form is on your site, you need to be tracking that. Then you want to set up phone call tracking so you know how many phone calls you're getting per marketing channel. And then in the event planning business, you're going to have a lot of offline sales. At least I would imagine most businesses are not purely e-commerce. And if you're having customers come on board with you via phone call or in-person sale, then you need to have some kind of way to track that. And that's why I recommend CRM tracking, or a CRM is just a customer relationship management tool like Salesforce. We use Infusionsoft. That's another CRM. If you don't want to get a fancy tool, then you want to at least be tracking this in a spreadsheet. So the action items here, absolutely go set up Google Analytics if you haven't already. Get that installed on your site and add the goals to track your forms. Then you want to set up what's called D&I call tracking, and that stands for Dynamic Number Insertion. And what that does is it will change the phone number that's on your website depending on where that traffic came from. So if I clicked on one of your Facebook ads and I go to your website, I'll see phone number A, and then if anyone called phone number A, they came from your Facebook ads. And then, excuse me, if I clicked on a Google AdWords ad and go to your website, I would see phone number B. And then again, if that person called phone number B, that was from the Google AdWords ad. So that's what dynamic number insertion will do. It changes the phone number based on where that traffic came from. And then you want to start tracking these sales in your CRM, or again, you could just use a spreadsheet, and you want to tie that back to where they came from. And you can do that if you have your phone call tracking. You can document that in your CRM and say, okay, this is a lead from the Facebook ads or the Google AdWords ads, or it's a lead just from SEO. And at the end of the month, you'll know all of the leads from each of your traffic sources, and ultimately how many sales you got from each of those traffic sources. All right, here's a recap. We talked about traffic, which is all the tactics you can use to drive traffic to your site. Then we talked about conversion, how to convert that traffic into more leads and sales. And again, if you already have traffic, then conversion is a huge leverage point. We talked about the customer value and thinking through how can you increase the real and perceived value, as well as adding some upsells, basically finding ways to provide even more value for your customers. And then making sure you've set up the proper tracking so that you're measuring all of your marketing activity. Because at the end of this month, you want to be able to say with pretty good certainty how each marketing channel is performing. And you can think of it like a report card. I have a 4-year-old daughter, and even my son, they both go to the same daycare, and they get, believe it or not, report cards. It sounds kind of crazy, but it's awesome because I see, I think I get them twice a year, something like that, and I see how they're progressing. So I know right away, when my daughter was going through potty training, I don't know, that was like a couple of years ago, I would get an update on how she's progressing in that, critical area of development. And I knew, at that time she was on track and she was doing well. But if she wasn't, then I would know, hey, I need to work on this, and we would need to do something extra at home. And you need to have that same type of report card in your marketing. So each month and each quarter, you're getting that report, and it tells you, okay, your Facebook ads are healthy, everything's on track, everything's going great, but the Google AdWords ads need a lot of work. they're underperforming, or your SEO is doing great, but your social media marketing is underperforming, and that's where it either needs more work, or maybe you just need to trim the fat and reinvest that money into the other channels that are working. All right, I promised the attendees a special offer here, and it's a digital marketing bundle. So I mentioned we have more in-depth training courses, and the bundle includes 3 step-by-step 90-minute training courses. And the first one is the complete SEO tune-up that we sell on the site for $97. It also includes how to set up a profitable Google AdWords campaign. Again, that's sold for $97. And then the third training is the step-by-step Google Analytics setup and reporting, which again we sell for $97. So the total cost of these courses is $291, but we're going to give it to you for only $97 for attending today. And you can get that special deal by going to mainstreetroi.com/marketing bundle. And I will show that URL at the end as well. Now, I realize not everyone wants training, so we provide training. We also provide services. So what I do want to offer is a free SEO assessment, free website and SEO assessment. And I'll show a quick poll here. If you are interested in that assessment, one of our SEO analysts will go through a checklist to assess kind of the health of your SEO and identify any issues. And then you can have a call with one of our digital marketing advisors, and she'll walk through that report with you and explain where there is opportunity to improve. All right, so it looks like most people have voted. I'm going to close that down in 3, 2, 1. And that brings us to the Q&A. You can see that URL again is mainstreetroi.com/marketing bundle. And we'll do live Q&A. It looks like Hazel is not able to hear me. And unfortunately, you wouldn't be able to hear this. The answer to your question, is this the way it should be? That is not the way it should be. You should be able to hear me. I'm not sure why you can't. All right, so again, if you have any questions, you can just type those right into the questions box. It should be on the upper right-hand corner of your screen. And I will address those as they come in. If no one else has questions, so it's about 12:53 p.m. Eastern. We can go for another 5 minutes if there are questions. If there are not, then we can always just wrap up early. Sherry asked, who's the author of the book? So it's Dr. Cialdini. Let me see if I can find it in my library here. Well, he has several books, so I'll just spell his name for you. It's Robert Cialdini. The last name is Cialdini. And the name of that book is called Influence. I must have lent it to someone because I'm not seeing it. All right, Molly, I don't see any more questions coming in, so I think we can wrap it up. And then at the end, when I do close it out, I do urge everyone to please complete the brief survey at the end. You'll automatically get redirected. Is Molly still there?
Yep, I'm still here.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll let you take it away.
Cool. Well, if you guys have any questions, either for Phil or for us over at the EPA, you can totally shoot us an email and we'll get back to you. And that was awesome, Phil. I know that I took away some cool stuff that I'm going to go ahead and start to implement myself. And then I just want to encourage all of you guys who are on the line, if you want to either keep the conversation going or keep the conversation around event planning going, we have a group on Facebook called the Event Planners Club. And so if you just hop onto Facebook and you search Event Planners Club, send us a request and we'll approve you and we'll let you in. And we've got people sharing, what they're doing to market their events and different resources that they've found helpful and stuff like that. So it's a pretty cool community of event planners over there that are just kind of chatting away. And it's always nice to have people in the industry that you can run stuff by, and people, ask questions. Hey, like, this is the situation that I'm in. What would you do? And you're always welcome to, ask about things that you're struggling with. So yeah, hop onto Facebook and search for Event Planners Club, and we'll let you in there. And then stay in touch with us on Facebook too. If you haven't liked our Facebook page, we're coming to the end of a 30-day challenge pretty soon, but next month we'll be running like a 7-day business building challenge, and that's kind of the best way to stay up to date on that too. So Event Planners Association, go ahead and like that page, and then definitely join the group, because that's where all the action is for sure, and that's Event Planners Club. So yeah, that's about all for me. And I believe that's all from Phil. If you guys have any questions, we've got 2 or 3 more minutes if you want to pop on a chat window and ask.
Yeah, I don't see any more coming in. Joanne did.
Okay.
She sent the full name of that book. It's Influence: The Psychology of Persuasion by Robert Cialdini. A lot of
that's a great one
around that book.
Yeah. Okay, no more questions. I guess we can go ahead and close it out. You guys can be excused from school 3 minutes early.
Yeah, enjoy it. It's like a snow day here.
All right, well, thanks, Phil.
Molly.
Thanks, everyone, for being on the line and joining in.
All right, take care.
You too.